Hi, this is Zach here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Thursday, the 20th of June. Starting on with the FTSE 100, which seems to be revitalizing itself. We've had 3 days above the 50-day moving average there, the blue line, 81.90. Resistance line there from back in the middle of May, which is, I suppose, defining our high of the day, 82.30. Need an end-of-day close above that to get us up to the 8300 zone, but you can see that the UK index clearly licking its lips at the prospect of a Labour government after July the 4th. Moving on to the DAX, and here you can see that we are trying to regroup after the rug pull last week. We've actually found support above the old May support, 17,000, let's call it 900. So that is a plus. Just waiting to see that 50-day line start to curl up. That's around 18,300. Need an end-of-day close above that to then get us back up to the best levels of the year, 18,800 plus, sometime in July. RSI still well below neutral 50, so a bit of a waiting game and a bit of consolidation still probably due there. Moving on to Bitcoin, and here we're trying to hold the floor of that rising trend channel around 65,000. So far done an okay job, but need to get back above that 50-day line there at 66,500 to then give us a chance of retesting the 71,000, 72,000 area early in July or maybe late in June. On the downside, still a risk of a move down to the 200-day line, 57,000, and that March support line projection, while we have the RSI below the neutral 50 level. Moving along to a situation which is still relatively strong in terms of gold. The consolidation that we've had between 2300 and 2360, the 50-day line there. Want to see an end-of-day close through 2360 to give us a chance of retesting the 2450 area, the record highs, one more time. If we do get through the record high area, then the next level up would be 2600 and the top of that rising trend channel from back in December. Worst at the moment that we're thinking of is a move down to 2280 and the May support, but channel already higher than that from back in December, so it looks as though the bulls are safe for now. Moving on to the stocks, and it's good to see that Arrow Exploration has managed to build on yesterday's gap to the upside, bear trap gap reversal, and hold above the old April resistance there at 23 3/4. Above that, we're looking for a relatively swift move up to 29 pence, maybe as soon as the end of this month, which is the top of the rising trend channel there from basically this time last year. So long last, maybe Arrow gets the recognition it deserves. Moving on to Avacta, where there's a biopharma big beast joining the party, and that seems to have got the shares out of their recent malaise. We've broken a line of resistance there from back in April. So that's basically at the 40 pence level, and nice price action today, opening at the low and so far at the high, so that does indicate perhaps a change in sentiment. We have been backed by an uptrend line in the RSI window, and that's still ongoing, so that positive divergence suggests that above 40p we could at least get back up to the 50-day line and recent May resistance at 44 pence. Obviously that's not a lot compared to where the shares were a few months back, but at least it is the start of a potential recovery. Moving on to Beacon, which looks as though it's trying to rehabilitate itself gingerly. We've got a potential W-shaped turnaround there. The middle of the W there around 0.15, and above that we're looking for 0.25, maybe up to 0.03. But obviously it is early days yet, and we really need to stay above that 0.015 level, the neckline level, in order to justify the idea of a potential recovery. On to Concurrent, and here are those classic rising trend channels. That's been in place since July last year. Top of the channel there, up to £1.22, and we're looking for that by the end of next month, while we remain above the 50-day line, currently around 99 pence. The fact that we gapped up today is a positive, and we basically also bounced off the neutral RSI 50 level, so Concurrent looking like a slow burn to the upside situation. On to CAPX, which has been the stock of the week, at least so far. Here we've got a situation where we really want the shares to hold our initial target there, 0.18. We were looking for that when the shares were 0.1, and so that target was hit. but above 0.18, then there's a chance of a fresh move up to the 0.4 pence area, filling that gap down that we had back from March. If we do break back below 0.18 on an end of day close basis, then there isn't that much charting furniture between there and the floor of the March gap there at 0.14, so that's the risk that we have at the moment. Moving on to Great Western, which has recovered of late through the 200-day moving average properly now for the first time since the beginning of March, and just a hint that the 50-day line is starting to turn up. In fact, it is turning up, so that is a positive. An end-of-day close above the 200-day line at 0.047, and we're looking at a potential move up to 0.07 maybe by the end of next month, but I have to admit that is the most positive scenario. The normal thing in the recent past has been for a rally to the 200-day line and then we fall back after that. But while we're above that 50-day line, 0.04 looking relatively chirpy there. On to Kendrick, which has been one of the winners of the week as well. Here we've exceeded our first rather ambitious target there at 0.72. And we're now looking for a fresh target there, the red line, up to as high as 0.97. And maybe we can see that by the end of next month. Although, as we said, the way things are going, we might even see that by the end of this month. Ideally, we stay on the right side of that initial January peak there, 0.67 pence. Next up is Light Science, which had a RNS today, but TR1 I think it was, with the seller going down from 5.99% to 0, which is good news. The situation now is that we want the shares to remain above the floor of the channel there from back in July, around 2.5 pence. While they're above that, then we're looking for up to 4.5 pence or 5 pence by the end of next month. But it is slightly disappointing that shares are down now today. Speaking of down, we had a bit of a rug pull at Novacyt the other week when they had to pay £5 million out. But looks like we finally found a support line projection there from back in October, around 43 pence. And ideally, we see an end-of-day close above the gap floor there at 47.5 pence. If we can do that, then there could be some momentum towards the area of the 200-day moving average, 56 pence, over the next week or two. Petra Matad is next, and here, slightly difficult on this one, but bear trap rebound from below the 50-day line there at 3.4 pence and above that. Looking for the shares to retest the May resistance around 5.25 pence over the next couple of weeks. Obviously, we had a previous target there, the red line, around 4.5 pence. Star of the show today, or at least one of the stars of the show today, is Polarean, which I think we looked at yesterday. It was a potential W-shaped turnaround. The neckline there, 1.6 pence above that, we were looking for up to 2.8 pence and the 200-day moving and the 50-day moving average area, and hopefully that could happen as soon as the end of this month. Might be pushing it, but that is a possibility, especially while we're above yesterday's high around 1.88 pence. A stock which has exceeded expectations, a gap through our second target there is Savannah Resources. The target there was 4 pence, and above 4 pence got the possibility of the upper parallel of that resistance line projection there from September, maybe as high as 5.7 pence by the end of next month. But the key here is staying above 4 pence and the latest gap floor. Finishing off with Trellus, and here the emerging situation is that we're just trying to come out of that falling wedge. We did that around the 1.5 pence area, and the longer we stay above that, the greater the chance of a move to 3 pence by the end of next month. If you're cautious, though, you'd wait for an end-of-day close above the 50-day line at 1.7 pence. Otherwise, you might suggest that this is a little bit of a false dawn. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.